If you didn't have your ticket 2 days ago, the only way you're getting inside of Savage Arena tonight is on the CBS College Sports Network. Toledo fans showed up early for this championship game of the Women's National Invitation Tournament as the USC Trojans come calling today. The Trojans at 24-12, 5 straight wins in the WNIT, taking on the 28-8 Toledo Rockets, also winners of 5 in this women's NIT. Today, it's for all the marbles. The Road Warriors from Southern California. They had a home game with Santa Barbara, and then it's been on the road 4 straight. Today is their 5th straight road contest to try to win the women's NIT. Meanwhile, for Toledo, it's been all home cooking for the Rockets. They have 5 home game wins in their pockets, and they've got 1 more today to win their first ever national championship. USC and Toledo. Welcome inside Savage Arena. Welcome to the Women's NIT Championship game. I'm Thad Anderson, joined again by Seal Berry. The energy of this WNIT is fantastic, Seal.
Oh, it's really exciting here, and it should be. Toledo has won 17 consecutive games here at Savage Arena, but they're getting ready to face a USC team that's not a play to get out and get on the road and play teams. They've won 4 of their 5 on the road, as you discussed.
USC specializes in breaking 17-game home winning streaks. They just beat Illinois State Wednesday night to break a 17-game home winner. And now this would do the same today if USC can beat Toledo in their own building. Both teams have some great talent across the board. We'll feature a couple of those players. First for the Trojans, coming off the bench.
Oh, Ashley Corral, number 24. Keep an eye on her. The junior from Vancouver, Washington, has one job and one job only, and that is to shoot and make 3-point shots. She is shooting, you can't believe this, 73.1% from the 3-point line. She'll go off the pass, off the dribble, and she's averaging 18.1 for the tournament.
On the brink of setting a record for 3-point shots made in the women's NIT. Flipping it over to Toledo, they are also powered by some fantastic guard play.
They have one tough competitor in Naama Shafir, the point guard and captain for the Rockets. She will get up and get after it. Her big job today will be to distribute the basketball and get it where it needs to go against a very tenacious USC defense. Look for her to penetrate gaps and get the ball to the hoop.
We're deep in the heart of tournament time today. Pandemonium at Savage Arena on the campus of the University of Toledo. It's the Women's NIT Championship game on the CBS College Sports Network. It's a little bit loud in here today, and that's the way they like it. Time for the championship tilt of the WNIT Trojans and Rockets on the court. Starting lineups have been announced. And here's what they look like for today. For USC, same 5 who started Wednesday. Christina Marinacci, Cassie Herberts, Kari LaPointe, Brianna Gilbreth, and Jackie Gemellis. And for Toledo, same 5 as the semifinal game. Goodall, Richardson, Shafir, Dortch, and Williams, the starting 5 for the Rockets. Head coach for the women of Troy, familiar face, popping a piece of gum in and ready for the championship game. Michael Cooper, been around a few championship games in his time. NBA Defensive Player of the Year back in '87, 8-time NBA All-Defensive Team, and that is the spearhead of his college team, the women of Troy. Defense. On the flip side, University of Toledo, led by their 3rd-year head coach, Tricia Cullop. This year's MAC Coach of the Year, 2nd time in 3 years that she has won the Conference Coach of the Year honor. There is the leadership. Next come the players. Seal Berry, you spent 26 years coaching Division I basketball. What's your thought about the environment and the experience for the players on the court today?
Well, this is what it's all about. For the opportunity for these players to be playing in April in front of a capacity crowd, over 7,200 fans here, loud, boisterous for both teams, whether you're SC or Toledo. And obviously, Toledo feels better about the crowd. But for SC, this is great. They average 962 at the Galen Center. Awesome for these women to play in front of the big crowd like this.
Here is the tip of the WNIT Championship game. Controlled by the Trojans. USC in the road Cardinal and gold uniforms. Toledo in the home whites.
And that's Jackie Gemellis playing the point guard, number 23.
Spin and a shot, no good. Offensive rebound missed by Brianna Gilbreth after Christina Marinacci took the first shot. Here comes Toledo surviving the first possession by the Trojans. Shafir got it to go, and Toledo has the lead.
It's that hesitation, that movement with the basketball that Shafir is so adept at. She ball fakes back towards the sideline, totally gets her defense standing still, and then easy layup to the basket.
Naama Shafir, we talked about her moments ago. She scores immediately. There is Marinacci being packed inside. Foul call. Let's take a look at some keys. The seal the deal feature.
Well, for USC, we just saw it. They would need to contain the Toledo guard penetration, particularly of Naama Shafir. And then on the offensive end, they must have a balanced attack. There are 4 players in double figures. It's got to be balanced. Get the ball inside if you're Toledo. They've got a good, strong post player, and then they must block out. They missed the block out on first possession with Gilbreth getting to the basket, so they've got to get a block out.
Toledo fouled Jessica Williams. The senior picks up the first foul of the game for either team. First free throw of the game is good by Christina Marinacci, a 71% free throw shooter. She'll have 1 more. And it's 2-1, Toledo with the lead. Chance to tie in the early going for Marinacci. Very good on the first 2 free throws. Nice poise at the line.
Well, watching the SC shooting practice, they drill for 15 minutes and then go to the free throw line. Drill 15 minutes more and go to the free throw line. And there's the penetration that we're talking about by Andala Dortch, number 22.
Dortch had it blocked away after Shafir dished to her. And USC has the size advantage today.
It'll take some time for the SC defenders to adjust to the speed and quickness of the Toledo guards.
We saw on Wednesday night, Seal, Toledo forced Charlotte into 14 turnovers in the first half before Toledo ever turned it over once.
Well,
they just got it there.
They are nifty with the basketball, particularly Shafir, number 4. As you see her draw the foul from the bigger 6'1" Jackie Jamelis, who's playing point guard for SC. So this is going to be a challenge. Jamelis, we'll get into later, has gone through 4 knee surgeries, and it's going to be difficult for her to stay with Shafir.
One foul each side. Rockets. Gilbreth blocked the inbounds pass. Brianna Gilbreth, an honorable mention All-American, makes the defensive play, and a turnover by Toledo.
And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be the quickness of the Toledo guards versus the size of the USC guards. Look how big.
Goodall took it away from Jamelis. Goodall drives. Goodall scores.
How about that for your center? Your 6'2" center gets the steal and converts, and Michael Cooper doesn't like it. He doesn't, you know, that's just not the sort of start nor the sort of defense that I think Michael Cooper is interested in.
So you look at the scoreboard, it says 4-2. As Michael Cooper, why do you call that timeout?
Well, I think he's concerned about the guard penetration. In his practice, he said, I don't want Shafir and Dortch to get to the bucket. And 3 times already, they've gotten to the paint. I think he's not particularly pleased with how they're handling the ball on the offensive end. But rest assured, he's talking about defense. As you mentioned, he's 8 times was an NBA all-defensive player. SC begins and ends with their man-to-man defense.
Now, Michael Cooper's been in plenty of championship games at a high level. I'm sure he's also doing some things to kind of stop the excitement of the crowd if possible. This place is blowing up already. I don't think he wants to let that ball get rolling downhill too quickly, too early.
Well, we talked about Ashley Corral in the open. He also wanted to insert Ashley Corral into the lineup, so she assumes a point position for Jackie Jamelis.
Corral wearing number 24, fresh into the game. There's a miss by the Trojans, and Dortch pushes it the other way.
And there's the guard penetration. That time SC did a nice job of not letting Dortch get to the rim.
Goodall had it skipped away, got it back, and there's Gilbreth on her 2nd steal of the game.
I'm impressed with Gilbreth's quick hands.
Shafir with a tip away. It'll go out of bounds and stay with USC. Seal, you and I talked after the semifinal round. Both games were lopsided for the USC, a big victory, for Toledo, a big victory. Their opponents, Illinois State and Charlotte, good basketball teams, but just overmatched that night. We expect a pretty good one here today, and it's off to a good start.
I think so. Both of these teams are well coached for starters. They've got good athletes, but good coaches make good athletes better. And I think that's what you see with both Tricia Cullop, the leader for Toledo, and Michael Cooper.
Cassie Harberts missed the shot for USC. On that rebound, Yolanda Richardson looked like she might have nonchalanted the rebound just a little bit. They need to remember the size and the rebounding prowess of this Trojans team. Shafir to the rim, missed it. Taken away by Corral, and she wants to run. Gets it ahead. Marinacci. Back to Harberts in a basket for USC. Kari LaPlante made the run down the court.
The post players for SC are mobile. They can get up and down. And they've got some depth inside in the post. And that's one of our keys right there with Yolanda Richardson from Toledo, post player. Get the ball inside. If you're Toledo, you want to get your feet in the paint. She's a big, strong post player. They've got to counter some of the perimeter size by going inside.
Quick answer by Toledo after the run by USC. Here's a shot by Marinacci, pulled down by Goodall. Andola Dortch make that just to Williams handling the basketball. Dortch running the opposite side. Screen by Goodall. Dortch dropped it on the end line. Couldn't reel the pass in. It's a turnover. USC basketball.
And actually, Toledo has done a fairly good job to this point on the defensive boards. SC is bigger, as we've mentioned, and we'll mention that 2 or 3 times. But Toledo is quicker. So you're going to see a little bit of more size versus the quickness. Corral,
quick shot, no good. Offensive glass and a foul. Cassie Harberts, the freshman, the only player for the Trojans who started every single game. 36 times she started this year as a freshman. Had a great kickoff season.
Yeah, she's a big, strong freshman post player from San Clemente. She's able to get her body inside. She's got great hands. She had 31 points early this year. As you see Corral dishing it out to Gilbreth.
There's a shot made by Brianna Gilbreth, the junior from Katy, Texas. That makes USC now 2 of 8 from the floor. They were having some trouble getting the ball in the basket. Gilbreth pays off. Dortch, 3, too strong, taken down by Marinacci. And USC running quickly off rebounds. Gilbreth again is good, and USC has a 2-point lead.
Well, give credit to Marinacci, number 00, who came off the defensive board and had the quick outlet pass to get it down to Gilbreth, and Gilbreth with the 15-foot jumper. But I want to tell you, Gilbreth's got a big job because the transition is so quick from defense to offense by both teams.
Baseball pass, hauled in, and a basket scored. Saved by Marinacci and then put away by Cassie Harberts. And USC, who just took their first lead moments ago, now extends to 4 points. It is 10-6. Toledo calls a 30-second timeout. The Rockets on a 30-second call. So each coach has used a 30 now. And USC has really started to assert themselves. It's been Brianna Gilbreth on defense against Naama Shafir, kicking off the transition offense.
Yeah, well, Marinacci gets down the floor as you see Gilbreth in transition. And there were 2 things that Michael Cooper worked on in practice yesterday. One was transition offense, which you see right there. What a finish by Harberts. And defense. Those 2 things, they didn't really work on their half-court offense. But, you know, the idea is for them to shut down the gaps, close up the penetration, get the defensive board, and get it down the floor in 1 or 2 passes. And, you know, it's going to be a seesaw sort of a strategic battle by these teams.
Here come the Rockets down by 4 on their home floor. A 17-game winning streak here at Savage Arena. And they'll get a contest today from USC. Almost poked away again, this time by Kari LaPlante. Rockets travel. Turnover. 4th turnover now for Toledo. 2 turnovers committed by USC. We've got a timeout on the floor with the Trojans in the WNIT championship game leading 10-6 over the Rockets of Toledo on the CBS College Sports Network.
Your game. Your memories. Your choice. Get in the game at TripleCrownSports.com.
The Women's NIT Championship game features the Mid-American Conference against the Pac-10 Conference. I'd say there's, admittedly, by some folks in Toledo, kind of a David versus Goliath feel. They want to take down the Pac-10 in the early going of this game. Seal. There have been 8 total field goals scored between the 2 teams, and 7 different players have scored.
I think that's a good sign for both teams, particularly Toledo. You want to get everybody involved and everybody, you know, feeling confident in a championship game. Anybody can explode and make the difference in this game.
There's a drive and a miss, put back up by Harberts. No good. Rockets rush in for the rebound, freshly onto the court.
And there's the quickness of Shafir. And it's the finish that's going to be important for Shafir because she's down on the opposite end. As Corral goes behind her back, they have 2 point guards tossing it away on either end. I don't think any coach is going to be happy with the completion right there, but Shafir is so fast from defense to offense. It's hard for those in the red jerseys to get themselves down and turned around and in a stance because she's so quick with getting the ball down the floor.
Haley Lynn has the basketball. She's the one who's fresh onto the court. Had that loose ball on defense moments ago. Just checked in during the timeout. Lynn will take a three. Inside position for Brianna Gilbreth. Jamelis dribbling up top. Gilbreth has it against Melissa Goodall, who had a great semifinal game. Gilbreth will shoot that three and hit it. And it's Brianna Gilbreth with her third field goal. Everybody else who scored has one. She's the only player who's hit multiple, and now she adds the three, the first three ball of the game by either team.
Not very often that SC gets a player from South Texas away from Gary Blair and Texas A&M, but SC former coach Mark Track was able to recruit Brianna Gilbreth, and she has made all the difference in the world for the women of Troy this season.
And her sister Stephanie joined the trip, so the sisters playing for USC. Stephanie's been out with injuries. They got two from South Texas. Pretty good score. Haley Lynn again, and this time she's good. Haley Lynn, since she checked in, has been a big part of what Toledo's doing, and she hits the three.
That's Toledo's game. If you notice, we get a replay of that. Number 4 gets both feet in the paint and then kicks it out to number 35, who's got a wide open shot. That's their game. And they're able to do that with the quickness of Shafir.
Inside it goes to Cassie Harberts. Missed the shot. And it's slapped out of bounds on the rebound try by Ashley Corral. So Toledo has it. Checking in for the Rockets will be Courtney Ingersoll. For USC, they're making a couple of swaps. We've still got Brianna Gilbreth out there along with Christina Marinacci. Jackie Jamelis is in. Ashley Corral's in there.
Well, you see the double. You see both feet are in the paint, and that's what Cooper talked about yesterday. You can't let her get that deep. If you let her get that deep, Toledo can beat us with the three. They can't beat us with 2-point shots, but they can beat us with the three.
Courtney Ingersoll tries the three and missed it. Cassie Harbert's the other of the 5. I mentioned 4 women of Troy on the court. She's the 5th. Here's 3. Gilbreth again has 10 points in the early going.
Bree Gilbreth has come out hot. Her parents are here from Katy, Texas. There's a small, maybe 15 fans or so, mostly parents from SC who have made the trip 3 time zones from Southern California. But once again, look at the penetration. Through, and it's going to be seesaw back and forth. The transition game of SC versus the penetration right now of number 4, Naama Shafir, and she may be on pace to foul the entire SC team out of the ball game because she's getting in the gaps.
Brianna Gilbreth picks up her first foul, 3 team fouls for USC. Toledo has committed 2. Shafir has gone inside frequently and had the ball taken away a couple of times, but it looks like the plan is just stay with it, going against the trees and see if you can get some things done. Not a lot of success early for Shafir on finishes, had a couple of turnovers, but they continue to drive her to the basket.
Well, when you get to a championship game, you dance with the one that brung you, and number 4 brung them. She's got him here. They won the regular season MAC championship, 14-2 record. Tricia Cullop is no dummy. Matter of fact, she recruited number 4 Shafir from Israel with never having seen her play. She didn't make a trip to Israel. She saw her on videotape, and she brought the rest of the coaching staff into her office, and she said, "You guys need to see this." And was able to get Shafir her first spring when she took this job here from Evansville.
Turning a miss by Jackie Jamelis. Janelle Reed-Lewis checked in for Toledo. Shafir left after making that second free throw. Here's Dortch, pulls up, lefty good off the glass.
Well, she kind of dribbled over to the right side, didn't like that angle, but clearly the left-hander likes the left bank shot, and once again able to get in the seams of the man defense.
16-12, USC with the ball and the lead. Harberts works. Left it short over the defense of the senior Goodall against the freshman Harberts, and the senior wins that battle.
Well, both those players are blue-collar workers. If you can leave Haley Lynn open, she's an energy player, a transfer from the University of Indiana, and working on her master's degree, just has mastered the 3 as she hit her second here in the first 8 minutes of the game.
Timeout taken after that 3-ball, and Toledo pulls back within 1 point at the WNIT championship game. Haley Lynn from downtown. For USC with that 1-point lead, spearheaded so far by the junior Brianna Gilbreth.
Brianna Gilbreth came to SC because her older sister Stephanie signed there, and she starts the scoring off for SC. She's got 10 points on 4 for 5 shooting for 80% in the first 8.5 minutes of this game. She is hot, and she is leading the women of Troy.
Brianna Gilbreth, the number 14 all-time career scorer at USC. Leading scorer all-time Cheryl Miller with 3,018 points. That is way in first place at USC. Lisa Leslie, Tina Thompson, Cynthia Cooper among the list there. So fine company for a junior, Brianna Gilbreth, who will keep climbing that scoring chart at USC. Shot is missed by Marinacci.
Look at the hustle by the two guards from Toledo, both the point guard and the off guard. Dortch and Shafir outraced no one, which I'm sure Michael Cooper is not pleased about, but the hustle plays right now are going to Toledo.
Toledo basketball on the possession arrow. Haley Lynn checks out and gets a well-deserved round of applause. 6 points, 2 of 3 from three land, and 2 rebounds when she came in off the bench in this game. Naama Shafir has the ball and heads toward the basket, pulls it back to Goodall. Williams has it. Richardson in there along with Dortch, the 5 on the floor for Toledo. Richardson had inside position and fouled to get it. A couple players to the floor, and battling down there was Kari LaPlante. Richardson foul.
Well, Yolanda Richardson got an elbow in LaPlante, and she was really trying to just spin and pin LaPlante. It was inadvertent and unfortunate. Tricia Cullop called the official over to question that one, but
Gilbreth again for 3. This one short, taken away by Richardson. Kari LaPlante, the only senior here on the trip with USC at Toledo.
I tell you what, until SC one-on-one, they can't contain Shafir. And because they can't contain Shafir, it opens up. By the time she gets to the basket, 2 or 3 red jerseys are around her, and it opens up the 3-point shots. That's exactly what coaching staff from SC was talking about yesterday. You've got to get her stopped. She's too fast.
Melissa Goodall hits the 3. USC bench didn't like it. They thought Shafir traveled before the pass out for the shot. Finish attempt by Christina Marinacci is no good. Toledo with a 2-point lead in the basketball. Dortch. She's fouled. She'll shoot free throws.
Sometimes with all the superlatives on Shafir, you forget about Dortch. Angela Dortch is as quick, and I talked to her in the locker room the other day, and I said, have you learned anything just from watching Shafir? And she said, oh yeah, my game's changed, and a lot of it is her goal is to get to the rim. 5'5" point guard, she's moved over to the off-guard position to make room for Shafir.
Looks like Ashley Corral will probably check out here on this horn. Corral with 2 fouls, and maybe not. Instead, Cassie Harberts is going to grab Christina Marinacci. So Ashley Corral will stay in the game with those 2 fouls. She just picked up this one that sent Dortch to the line. Here's the free throw. Missed the first. They will try to get it to a 3-point game.
And the question for Michael Cooper right now is, will you go zone? Because your guards right now are struggling. You've got Jamelis, who's had 4 surgeries on her knee, and that's a tough assignment for Shafir. And then Corral is having a hard time with the quickness of Dortch. So they counter, they've got to counter with that outside shot of their own. Now, if she starts hitting that, it's going to be back and forth. But what SC would like is that exactly right there. Pick up the ball at the 3-point line, get the ball out of Shafir's hands.
Haley Lynn got stuck and threw it away into the hands of Jamelis. Kicks it out to Corral to the corner to Gilbreth. Nice cut and a basket for LaPlante. Great ball movement by USC, and they're up on top by 3.
Beautiful pass by Bree Gilbreth. Beautiful to see. She pump fake, got the defender in her hair, and had a wide open lane for LaPlante. And once again, number 4 is able to pick the ball up. So there's 2 possessions in a row, which is rare, that SC is able to get an easy look at the basket and transition. We've got an injury, it looks like, to Corral.
Basket by Cassie Harberts. Ashley Corral went down and stayed down for a moment. She's back up. Good to see that. just hit a 3 moments ago.
Well, you see, Shafir picks up the ball in transition. Watch the pump fake, and then the unselfish play to LaPlante, who's running the floor hard.
Kari LaPlante, part of the Pac-10 All-Academic Team, an honorable mention there. Smart is good.
When you look at the SC roster, there's about 4 of them that have been in some way, shape, or form members of the all-defensive team. And that's the stamp that SC wants to put on their program, that they're going to play hard-nosed defense and win championships under the Michael Cooper regime.
Ashley Corral, who hit a 3 moments ago, needs just 3 in this game, so now just 2 more to tie the women's NIT record for 3-point baskets made in a tournament. Jenny Linger from Missouri State back in 2005 made 22 in the tournament. Corral has 20 made right now. A couple of records on the line today. USC is taking a shot at a few WNIT records. We'll talk about those as they develop. Naama Shafir with the basketball again. Frequent occurrence for Toledo. Courtney Ingersoll getting some good playing time in the first half.
You see Gilbreth at 6'2" has a nice feed, unselfish feed, set play coming off the bench by Tricia Cullop, where Shafir pump fakes, gets the ball into Richardson down on that block.
Yolanda Richardson, a great semifinal game on Wednesday, performed very well. Gets the basket. And this one's going to fly to the sideline, hauled in by Jackie Jamelis and saved for USC. Shot clock under 10 seconds now. Jamelis got the shot.
Now, this is a player in 2006 was the #1 recruit in the nation. The 2006 McDonald's All-American, as I mentioned earlier, has suffered, that will be a foul, it looks like on Harbert, has suffered 3 ACL injuries and then had a 4th surgery with a scope.
Timeout in the Women's NIT Championship game. USC with a 5-point margin over Toledo on the CBS College Sports Network. After 8 seasons coaching the WNBA's Los Angeles Sparks, Michael Cooper made the move to USC. He talked earlier about the fact that getting road wins starts with defense.
When you play good, solid defense, defense works whether you're at home or on the road, and especially on the road, it's been very, very helpful to us. It's been generating a lot of points when we do a good defensive stance, whether it's a 7-minute or a 20-minute run. We're getting good defense at certain points of the game to give ourselves a chance to win.
And that's one of the keys to that stingy defense of USC. They use it to try to generate offense. So far, 6 fast break points in this game. Here's Shafir inside and finishes.
And right now, SC really doesn't have an answer for her. I mean, when you have your small forward guarding one of the quickest point guards in the country in the half-court set and transition, it shows where Cooper's limited in his choices in his selection off the bench on who's going to guard Shafir.
Shafir 5 points and 3 assists. She's been involved in 5 of the baskets here. 2 that she made and 3 that she set up. Got that rebound and she'll drive here, no good. It's interesting how the lane parts a lot of times for Shafir. That happened the other night in the semifinal too. It looks like some kind of breakdown, but Shafir just reads things so well. Inside blocked and saved back in. Gilbreth with the hustle for USC. Long 3 on the way. Bounces off, no good. That was tried.
Well, what I see right now is that SC is not sending as many to the offensive boards because they've got to get back. When Shafir gets the ball, they've got to be back in the paint. So they only had 1 player on the offensive board that time.
Shafir has looked at the 3 several times and not shot it. Now she will. Missed it strong.
That's what they're going to give her. They're going to give her the 3.
Here comes Jamelis, and she scores, and Shafir took a shot somewhere in the neck or the chin on the way in. Incidental by Jamelis driving to the basket. Shafir dinged up. There were 2 Rockets laying on the floor back in their offensive paint. They got tangled up, and now Shafir takes a shot here. Physical action in the first half of the Women's NIT Championship.
Yeah, so it looks like she hit her on her right shoulder. Just an inadvertent look that she went in defensively, and it's, oh, her elbow, her right elbow.
Shafir will check out. She did have a mouthpiece in. Good time for that.
Well, Angela Dortch, yeah, she'll go over to the point, and she has logged so many minutes this year, and has been such an important role player for Tricia Cullop. She can manage that position in the point.
Williams from the corner. That's good. Can't leave her open.
Well, that's her spot. She loves the corners. She got a little bit of a set shot. She dips it a little bit, but the SC defense went to double in on Goodall. Left Williams. You don't want to leave Williams because she opened up hot the other night. I'm sure the defenders saw that in the videotape. You leave her, she'll knock it down.
The senior Jessica Williams just scored that three. Here's a free throw line look missed badly there by Kari LaPlante. Rockets have it, down by 2.
So when Toledo goes in their half-court set, they've got a double high post, and that allows them to run a variety of sets, and Goodall is able to shoot the three-pointers. They go into a 4-out offense.
Couple of subs. We'll check in on the next stop. But first, the Toledo possession, trying to tie it up. Goodall scores in the paint.
And she didn't get the and one, but she could have, because LaPlante really was pushing and banging right in front of the student section. But Goodall's another blue-collar worker for Tricia Cullop.
It is a packed house at Savage Arena in Toledo, Ohio. The Rockets hosting the USC Trojans in the WNIT championship game. Harvards knocks it down and one. Big finish by the freshman. Shafir will check back in, as will Yolanda Richardson.
Well, that's a great pass from Gemelos, and Gemelos brings so much. You got to give that kid a lot of credit. Most athletes who are injured and sit out for 3.5 consecutive seasons. This is her 5th year at SC. You really got to give her a lot of credit.
2+1 is good for Cassie Harvards, and USC back out to a 3-point advantage.
You really didn't expect Shafir to sit out very long, did you? Yeah, she'll go. She's fearless. You know, she'll get banged around. She doesn't weigh a whole lot. She uses her speed and quickness and finesse.
Dortch tips it away, and back to USC.
Now it's a heads-up play by Corral to turn around, be there.
Haley Lynn runs off screens, can't catch up to Corral, who missed it. And Dortch down there, skying for the rebound.
I'm not sure that's the best shot in the world by Corral to take at this stage of the game. You know, you're up 3, you have possession of the ball, your team's really not settled, and it results in a missed shot, a long rebound, and a quick foul on the defensive end.
3rd foul for Ashley Corral. Mass substitutions coming. Corral will sit down with 3 fouls now in the first half of this championship game. And that is the 6th team foul for USC. One more time, it'll be bonus free throws.
It'll be interesting to see how with Brianna Gilbreth guarding Shafir. I mean, Shafir will play 34 minutes, 35, and there's the block shot, there's the size, and there's the quickness.
Saw it all right there.
Yeah, well, you know, you get the block shot by Gilbreth, you get the follow with the quickness of Shafir. Tip, follows her shot, Gilbreth doesn't block out, pump fake. Here goes Marinacci, so she draws another foul. But my point was, this kid's going to play 30, 35 minutes. She'll play 40 if she needs to. She played 42 against Syracuse. And for Brianna Gilbreth to guard her, and how often she has the basketball, that's going to conceivably take away offense from Gilbreth. Because she's got to focus on her defense first.
Rockets, when you start to look at the anatomy of a championship game, you can start to see a trend, and one of those is the Rockets are 1 of 6 now from the free throw line. They're left 5 points behind at the stripe. They trail by 3.
Well, I agree with you that. I think to win championships, you have to hit free throws. And typically, there's how many, you know, we need a stat here. How many fouls has Shafir drawn? I would say we're up to 7.
That'll be bonus free throws after a timeout. Championship action at the Women's NIT on the CBS College Sports Network. Toledo trailing by 3 of their 11 field goals for the Rockets, 4 of those from three-point land.
Well, Jessica Williams, a small forward for the Rockets. As you see, Goodall gets double teamed. Look how low she drops that basketball. The only way she can get that shot off is when Harberts doubles inside on Goodall and allows her to get that shot off. When she does that, Williams is a deadeye. She's knocked him down. She really got him going the other night. Hit 3 in the first half against Charlotte.
Jessica Williams with one of those threes made for Toledo. Haley Lynn has 2 of the threes. Melissa Goodall also hit 1. Naama Shafir, single bonus for Toledo. And Shafir got that one. That makes Toledo 2 of 7 now from the free throw line. And Ola Dortch is going to check back in, replacing Jessica Williams.
And you mentioned the free throws earlier. I think they'll get on track here. Clearly, it's their home arena. They've won 17 consecutive, as we mentioned. But free throws are going to make a difference, and you get that advantage. I mean, that's one of strategically. Toledo wants to get to the foul line with their quickness at the guard position. And
Toledo this season in the MAC, they were last in team free throw percentage at 67%, ranking dead last in the Mid-American Conference. So that has been a problem for this team. They need it today. Shot is up, bouncing around. No good for Gilbreth. Out of bounds to Toledo.
Well, Brianna Gilbreth has a huge size advantage on the offensive end. You know, Cooper may post up Brianna Gilbreth. She has the ability to post up Shafir. They have yet to do that yet. She's just shooting over the top. But, you know, that may be a way to counter her quickness on the opposite end.
Quick check-in again for Jessica Williams, who went out and came right back in on the offensive set. Goodall looks inside to Richardson, who was held and will shoot single bonus. So the 1-and-1 coming up, the foul there by Kari LaPlante. Baseball, fast pitch, volleyball, college basketball, college placement, and more. No agendas, no home cooking, professionally organized tournaments, great destination locations. Get in the game at TripleCrownSports.com. Triple Crown Sports presents the Women's National Invitation Tournament. You're watching the championship game. USC on the road at Toledo with a 2-point lead. There goes Courtney Ingersoll checking in as Haley Lynn, who replaces number 2, who you see on your screen. And Yolanda Richardson toes it for 1, hoping for 2 here.
Yolanda Richardson had not been in the starting lineup. She entered the starting lineup against Charlotte because of the size that the 49ers had. But again, there we are. Get inside, nothing, and do it again. Shafir's looking for a screen. She gets one from Goodall.
Leans through and missed it. Rebound pulled down by Kari LaPlante. Oh, big screen. Dortch goes down hard off of Harberts. Clean screen, but she got all that one.
Dortch really got banged on that. The officials wise to call stop the play, make sure that she's okay. As you mentioned, it was a clean screen. It's just a hard screen.
Officials helping with the stoppage here. Dortch heads off the court.
Well, both these guards play hard on Toledo. Dortch, she's full speed. She's got her nose right on the midsection of the offensive player. She didn't see that really the defender guarding the screener could have helped her by stepping up there and communicating so Dortch didn't get blindsided.
2:39 left when she went down, and Dortch heads straight to the locker room. Looks like she'll be done for the first half at least. Scoop no good, and Haley Lynn there for the loose ball. Lynn takes it all the way. Out of bounds, USC basketball.
Yeah, I think the Toledo guards are gaining confidence because really from the opening tip they've been able to get to the rim. They have superior quickness. Last possession, Jamelos was able to get inside.
Guards Jessica Williams and Naama Shafir on the court with Dortch having left. There's a floater, no good. US misses again, and here comes Toledo behind the back for Shafir. To the corner to Williams. Goodall's open.
SC able to get matched up this possession, and this is what they want. Able to stop the transition, stop the primary offense. and force them to set up. But with the use of the screen right there, there's another foul that she draws, another opportunity. She'll go to the free throw line.
Second foul for Jackie Gemellis, the junior from Stockton, California, for the Trojans. And 10 fouls on the board for USC, so it's 2 shots the rest of the way for Toledo.
And when you're trailing, you know, and you're trailing as a defender and you get behind, it's a good job by the SC defense to really get matched up. And you really don't expect Toledo to continue to miss the foul shots. You know, the more you go, the more comfortable you become. The closer you get to the finish line, you realize how important these free throws are. Rest assured, this team wants to win this championship, and they're not about to step off this floor in front of these fans without giving it their all, and losing it because they didn't knock down free throws.
Naama Shafir now with 8 points in the game. The crowd comes to their feet with a minute and a half left in the first half, and a tie game in the Women's NIT Championship.
Shafir, it's as if we mention her name every other word because she's everywhere. She's a part of every play. She gets in the passing lane, and Gilbreth did a nice job to come to a jump stop, but couldn't chase it down before it went out of bounds.
It's been a battle for Shafir. She leads her team with 8 points, but just 2 of 8 from the floor and 4 of 8 from the free throw line, yet she's making things happen. And there's a rebound foul. Haley Lynn with the inside position on Brianna Gilbreth, who now has 2 fouls, does Gilbreth. Haley Lynn has been a big piece of this first half. Didn't start, but since she came on the court, she has generated some defense, some offense, some rebounding for her Rockets.
Well, when you watch Toledo practice, and immediately, I was actually surprised she wasn't a starter because the energy she brings to practice. Both times we watch them practice, she comes full tilt on the practice floor. When you're doing that in April, you better believe that you're doing that in October and November. And for a bench player to do that, for a player that's coming in off the bench, it says even more to the coaching staff to generate that sort of enthusiasm.
Haley Lynn transferred from Indiana University after the 08-09 season, got 1 of 2 at the line. Gilbreth pulls it in for Haley Lynn in this game. 7 points and 7 rebounds in this first half. 1 minute left in the first half of action. Gemellis knocks down the shot, puts her team back up by 1. Here we go on a seesaw.
Yeah, and Gemellis is, before the surgery she was highly decorated player out of high school, out of Stockton, California. The #1 recruit in the nation, McDonald's All-American, everybody's All-American.
How about that, Coach? Naama Shafir, they haven't figured it out yet. She's cutting through the defense.
Well, and that was the question. Against a bigger, you know, a Pac-10 team that had All-Americans virtually at many of positions, could Shafir play at this level? And I think she's showing that she's fearless.
There you see the shot clock, about a 6-second differential. Gemellis missed it, and Toledo's going to have a look. 8 seconds to go, leading by 1.
Yeah, she's aware of the clock. She's going to make that move and get inside.
Scores again and pumps the fist at the horn. Toledo 35, USC 32. Naama Shafir with that basket. A dozen points in the first half, and her team leads by 3 in the championship contest of the women's NIT.
Well, Naama Shafir was so aware of the clock. That's where she was impressive. She held up, she hesitates, she crossed over, and she finishes, and the crowd comes to their feet. What momentum they take into the locker room.
That ball even looked slightly deflected on its way to the rim. Toledo with the 3-point lead, and their head coach, Tricia Cullop, trying to bring home the first national title in school history. Coach, first half in the books. How'd it feel on the floor?
Well, I really thought that our transition defense was very poor at times, and we gave up too many easy baskets. I think once we settled down and started getting back and not giving as many looks, we did a better job. But I also thought that by picking them up full court, we didn't let them get into their sets as much. So we're going to probably do a lot more of that the second half.
Coach, I was very impressed with your defensive block out. Your size, all 5 positions got position. Is that something you want to emphasize again as you're going into halftime?
We have to. We're about a foot shorter than half their team, so we're going to have to continue to do that. It's about heart and desire right now. It's not about size.
Coach Tricia Cullop, thank you for your time. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Well, one half is in the books. We got 20 more to come in a hotly contested WNIT championship game. The Trojans of USC taking on the Rockets of Toledo. Halftime is up next on the CBS College Sports Network. Toledo has a +3 as the second half begins. USC has the first possession. The Rockets lead on their home floor in the Women's NIT Championship game. Back to play we go. Second half begins. Jackie Jamelis handling the basketball for the Trojans.
And the guard pressure continues. You didn't expect it to wane any after a 15-minute rest, but the guards are going to be out in the face of the perimeter SC players.
Spin, no good. Shot missed by Kari LaPlante. Rockets, who led in rebounding in the first half, 25-19. Maybe mildly surprising with the height advantage to USC. Hustle boards by Rockets all first half long. Shafir drops.
Well, she picked up where she left off last possession, and as did Dorsch. And Dorsch comes in, goes 94 feet with her defense. She's going to stay hard on Jamelis and make Jamelis really work to bring the ball up the court.
Backcourt pressure by the Rockets. They will do everything they can, all the energy they've got to take home this championship, but USC is going to feel the same way. Both teams inspired to win this Women's NIT. Excited to be part of the postseason. They've both come through 5 ball games to get to this point. Jamelis missed it.
Well, both possessions, SC went with a post player with their back to their basket. First possession it was LaPlante. Second possession, Jamelis. As you see Shafir again, and
Dorsch steals it.
Yeah, Dorsch the defender, Shafir the ball handler.
Shafir took a little shot on the way in on that last drive. Took a shot in the first half as well. Yolanda Richardson, no good. Collision, Harberts goes down, and Jessica Williams fouled her on the rebound.
Well, it's almost as if SC cannot afford to give Toledo an offensive rebound. We talked about the keys to penetration, or keys to win, contain guard penetration, and really they struggled in the first half as you see Shafir and Dorsch really get inside the defense, and then SC had to have a balanced attack. All 6 players have scored.
Yeah, the USC bench not real deep. They've been playing maybe 8 players in games when the games were margined, but 6 players is really what they've done for the bulk of this tournament. Ashley Corral off the bench, actually the leading scorer in the Women's NIT for USC, so 6 strong, but not much after that. Foul and free throws.
Well, what Michael Cooper has told his team clearly is we're going inside. That's the 3rd possession. The ball has gone inside, and for Toledo, they wanted to get the ball inside. They had 16 points in the paint. So they got the ball to the rim either via post or Shafir, and they have to block out. They only gave up 3 offensive rebounds to SC in the first half. A much bigger team.
Cassie Harberts missed the first.
As you see, Harberts is shooting into the student section. And they didn't go to the free throw line that often in the first half. So this is their first, and the students relish the opportunity to distract her down on that end of the floor.
Haley Lynn picked up the foul, her second personal. Yeah, free throw steal in the first half. USC made 3. They only shot 3. Toledo 5 of 13. One of the Toledo goals is to make more free throws than their opponent attempts, and they did that in the first half. Didn't shoot well, but got to the line frequently. LaPlante with a rebound for USC, and the Trojans down by 4 have the basketball.
Well, despite the fact that they've missed some easy shots, they've gotten some great looks as Shafir picks up that foul, and that's really what Jamelis and Corral have got to do. They've got to make Shafir play some defense on the interior because it's been too easy for her offensively. When that's the case, you got to make her play defense. Take it down inside. They're bigger, stronger, and make her do some work. Bang her up a little bit on the defensive end.
Shafir's first personal. Gilbreth goes back to work now. A dozen points for Brianna Gilbreth on the jumper in that first half. Seal, you just mentioned it. USC committed 11 fouls. Toledo only had 4 fouls committed, and that wasn't officiating. That was the way the game was played. And now USC looks like they want to flip that over. Shafir missed the 3 short and fouled her shot again.
Well, she got away with her travel right there, but you know what you want out of Shafir is to her to take 3s, but every time she's taking a perimeter shot, she follows her shot. It's amazing. It's like parting the Red Sea. I mean, she just goes right down the middle. They can't predict or anticipate which hand she's going to use when she goes to the bucket.
Timeout, Michael Cooper. He's not happy with some defense. as the initial surge in the second half has relented, and Toledo taking back momentum. Rockets 39, Trojans 35 in the second half of the WNIT championship game. Signature Memories professional staff. Get in the game at triplecrownsports.com. When in Toledo, eat Hungarian hot dogs and chili mac. Tony Paco's a landmark of Toledo, made famous in part by Klinger from MASH. We enjoyed ourselves there yesterday. Our director, Martin Tarr, and a handful of folks made the trek over. Our thanks to our crew doing a great job today on the WNIT championship game. I'm Thad Anderson with Sealed Berry. Second half action. USC missed a shot, and Shafir comes out of the pack with the basketball. Rockets run.
Well, SC tried to run Corral off a couple of double screens. That's about the fourth point-blank shot that Toledo's missed this second half coming out, yet they still have a 4-point lead. Watch it, it's a hesitation. She fakes the spin dribble and then continues, almost carries the basketball, but not enough to draw the whistle. And it's her change of speed and her change of direction, which is so deceptive and so difficult to guard. You know, she's not a named point guard. If you name the top 5 contenders for the Lieberman Award for the top point guards, Naama Shafir's name probably wouldn't be in there. But boy, she can play with any of them.
Cassie Harbert somehow finished that with a fling as she was getting fouled. You just saw Melissa Goodall checking out moments ago, picked up her first foul. Here's another Toledo foul.
Well, hey, again, it's inside. Get the ball inside. There's Herberts. She's strong. Herberts, excuse me. She's strong. You know, she kind of pushes it up with both hands. But other than Corral's look off the triple screen for a 3, every possession has gone inside. Herbert's going to have to knock down the foul shots in front of the student section. She's big, she's strong, and she's going to take the ball strong to the basket. This is a physical game. Make no mistake about it. There's a lot of pushing and shoving going on down there.
Courtney Ingersoll picked up the foul for Toledo. In the first half, Toledo committed 4 fouls. They've already committed 5 in less than 4 minutes of play in the second half. Shafir is fouled on her way to the rim. Again, all day long under the rim, Naama Shafir.
But look at the frustration on the SC defenders. I mean, they've been told at halftime, we've got to contain. They were told it yesterday at practice. You know, Michael Cooper's frustrated too because it's been the same mantra. You've got to slow down the ball. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. This isn't a player that they have played against before, nor a player that they've seen in conference play. First look at him, and we're talking the 6th game in about 17 days.
And that foul hangs up the 3rd personal on Brianna Gilbreth, the lead of the USC offense. She has 3. There you see her on your screen. She'll be, at least that'll be in her head somewhere, there's 3 fouls. Good there for Shafir. Jessica Williams checks back in for the Rockets. She'll replace Courtney Ingersoll. So it's Williams with Dorich, Goodall, Lynn, and Shafir on the court. Handling the ball for USC is Ashley Corral. Marinucci's out there along with Jamelis, Harberts, and Gilbreth.
Well, in an attempt to get Jamelis the ball in and around the basket because of the smaller Dorich. You know, and again, because Jamelis handled the ball at the point, that's moving Corral from the shooting guard position to handle the ball. A lot of change up for the SC offense.
Goodall is fouled by Harberts on her way to the basket. Looked like it was before the shot. Inbounding situation.
And you kind of hope, you know, you get a championship game like this, you hope that the play is determined by the players and not by the officials as we go down the stretch.
And it's going to stay good for another 15 minutes and 40 seconds in the championship contest at the WNIT. Move teams around and keep this thing flowing in the WNIT. Shafir drives the baseline, no good. Harberts has the rebound. Seal and USC's last 3 games, they have blown away their opposition in the second half of play, throttling BYU 37-19 in the second half, hitting CU 53-34 in the second half, and then on Wednesday against Illinois State 33-14, a great second half team, the Trojans, in this tournament.
Yeah, and you see the second half adjustments that Michael Cooper has made. offenses going inside. It's clear. They're going to go down inside. Defensively, he switched up. Who's guarded Shafir? Shafir, they're not double teaming her. Gilbreth is back on it, but he started with Jamelis and Corral guarding it.
That was Harberts hitting the basket. Goodall tries to answer and does. Back to a three-point game. The freshman and the senior inside battling. Harberts and Goodall, both impact players in this game. Haley Lynn picks up the loose ball.
Well, Corral, typically a shooting guard, moved to the point guard position. That was just not a good angle on the pass. Just a poor decision from the guard position.
The threat is on again. Shafir had the ball where she wanted it. Ingersoll finds herself open. Missed the shot. USC wants to run.
Well, it's a 2-on-2. Jamelis stops and pops.
Gilbreth careful with those 3 fouls. Shafir runs around her and pulls up. And taken away by Jamelis. Shafir gives away the foul. Good hustle by Jackie Jamelis, the junior for USC.
Well, Jamelis read that time Shafir, because Shafir starts to, she starts the spin dribble, and Jamelis read it all the way. She knew she was coming back towards her right. And Coach Cullop, picking up a star point guard and saying, that's okay. Right idea.
No fouls in the first half for Naama Shafir. She has 2 now. 17 points to lead all scorers for Naama Shafir, the 5'7" junior from Israel.
It comes down to execution. When you get to a championship game, both teams are going to play outstanding defense. As you see, there's a good switch. Watch on the inside. You've got Dorch on the bigger, stronger Marin. I believe that was Corral.
Yep, Corral used the glass and got it down. It's a 1-point game. Back and forth we go now. You and I talked about it a couple days here while we hung out in Toledo, hoping for and expecting a tight contest based on the profiles of these two teams. It appears we're setting up for a great finish. Drive. Haley Lynn missed it. Toledo has missed several point blankers here in the last couple minutes. Goodall. No good.
They really haven't. They can't really expect for SC to not black out 2 consecutive times. And really right now, both teams have got some point blank looks that they just are not hitting, as Ashley Corral, who had 7 for 8 against Colorado. If she gets hot, that spells bad news for the Toledo Rockets, because she's got that capacity to go off given an open look.
And up go the Trojans by 2. Shafir for the tie. Got it. And 1 for the lead if she hits it.
Well, Barb Smith was right underneath the basket. She made the right call right there, because the rotation was late. She made the call. It was a blocking foul. As you see, Marinacci rotate over and almost undercut Shafir. But, that's the deceptiveness. She stretches out and gets to the rim so quickly.
Cassie Harberts just checked out. Kari LaPlante has checked back in on the low right blocks for the Rockets. Courtney Ingersoll replaces Jessica Williams. There's Courtney from Massillon, Ohio. And there's Naama Shafir, who has, if she hits it, 20 points in the championship tilts. And she got it. 20 in this game for Naama Shafir.
Well, she's accounted for. You're looking at 45 points. She's probably accounted for 38 of them. She's been involved in every possession other than the ones she's out of the game.
4 assists in the game for Shafir, and 7 rebounds also for the 5'7" guard.
I wouldn't call SC really a half-court team. They like the transition offense, but they're going to have to really execute their half-court sets. As you see Corral off the dribble, and that's the player we're talking about. If she gets hot, she starts pulling at her shorts after she hits a couple. She's feeling it.
Michael Cooper looked like he wanted his team to stay up tight on the inbound off the made basket. Wants to keep that pressure up, as you're talking about, Seal. He wants the game moving back and forth. Shafir to the rim, and she scores again.
So quick. And she recognized, really, on the screen. SC switched on the screen, and, she was chomping at the bit to take that to the basket, because she recognized the mismatch right away. She had the bigger, slower post player on her and just took her to the hole.
Officials discussing something on that last play. I didn't catch it.
And I think that, you love the double high offense that Tricia Cullop has set up for Shafir. It's just ideal for her because she can use either post player as a screener and get the ball to the hole.
Timeout on the floor, tied at 47. WNIT championship. The USC Toledo tied at 47. The Trojans clawing back. Ashley Corral heating it up.
Ashley Corral started off at the point guard position to open the second half, but getting to the hole, the defense has to really stop her from the perimeter because that's really where she's at her best. Off the dribble going left. I mean, if this player gets hot, 3 against 2, Toledo's going to have trouble with it. And
Ashley Corral has tied the record in the WNIT. You see that on the bottom of your screen. She's made 22 threes through the course of this tournament. One more would give her the new record, and she now shares it with Jenny Linger from Missouri State, hit 22 back in the 2005 Women's NIT. But the individual accolades, a very distant side note right now to any of the players on the court. They want the championship, and we are tied with 11 minutes, 40 seconds left in this final contest of the Women's NIT.
Well, you see Corral brought the ball down the floor against Shafir, so she has not gotten the ball back in her hands yet. So that was a go-to look for Jamelis, but you want to go to the hot hand. Instead of having Jamelis at the point and Corral out on the wing, they switched it back and tried to get Jamelis involved.
Coach Michael Cooper just laughed last time Shafir drove to the rim and scored. Starting to look like futility setting in for the defense. It's scary for him every time she has the ball.
Well,
and there's again.
Yeah, and that right there, though, they will take a jump shot as opposed to a layup because clearly the percentages aren't as high to hit that. But, there's only so many times a coach can say, you've got to stop the penetration. There's only so many times in the timeout or in the scouting report. At some point, there's got to be enough help. As you see Gilbreth dip to the basket, and a nice follow-up shot. Yolanda Richardson sent that one back.
Yolanda Richardson on the defense. Richardson, just a sophomore, already third on the all-time career blocks list at Toledo. Got a big one there on Gilbreth.
And Shafir recognizes so well when she's got a mismatch, which is usually 4 out of 5 times on the floor.
Smooth flow by Corral. That ball almost flew away from Kari LaPlante. Corral corralled it. Had to use that once in the game. Gilbreth around 2 defenders, had it blocked.
Well, it's great help by Melissa Goodall. She, as Gilbreth tried to take Yolanda Richardson to the hole, really Goodall, stepped into the gap. Didn't allow her really to get penetration to the basket. It was a great defensive play.
2-point lead for Toledo. This sellout crowd. Energetic, trying to propel their Rockets onto the championship. A full house, record-setting crowd, both on Wednesday in the semis and again today in the championship. Shot clock beater, beat it.
Well, that brings everybody to their feet, not just the student section.
Quickly back, USC wants to answer. Jamelis, no good. And Dortch has it. Big moment here in the championship game. Toledo up by 5 with under 10 minutes to go after the Shafir 3-point shot clock buzzer beater.
That's what's so great about the WNIT being on home campuses because you have the student section involved.
Naama Shafir, 29 points in the game.
And Michael Cooper's got to call a timeout because I tell you what, the crowd is on it. They are going crazy. He's going to call a timeout, and he needs one. I mean, Cooper shaking his head. The question is, will he go zone? Will he go zone defense? Because at this point, when you've got a player like Shafir who just is slicing through the defense time and time again. I know we beat a dead horse. I know we've talked about it ad nauseum, but she's clearly the catalyst for the offense. Look, ball fake, off the dribble. She loses the handle, gets a little screen. Can't get to the hole. I'll just shoot it from outside.
Naama Shafir, there you see her catching a quick hydration. 29 points in the game. Looks like she's going to check out momentarily to Jessica Williams. 7 ties, 10 lead changes, but right now the largest lead of the game for Toledo at 7 points, 54-47. By the way, for Naama Shafir this season, her high point production was against Eastern Michigan back in February. 32 points, her season high. Just 3 points shy of that right now, Naama Shafir. Her career high back in 2009 against Oakland with 36 points. So just 7 more points and she'd set her career high mark, and just 3 points to a season high. The only reason we bring that up is the whole concept of big players playing big in big games. That would be a great example of Naama Shafir, who's been expected to do things, has been talked about, has been scouted and defensed, and yet she's got the 29 points.
Well, it's no wonder why the fans turn out in Toledo. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you come out and watch a great player? And this team is so well coached, and despite the fact that she's a star, she carries herself with such humility and unselfishness. That's what you gotta love about a player like that.
Yolanda Richardson with the rebound of the corral miss. Since USC took that 2-point lead, you saw on your screen a 9-0 run by Toledo to run up to a 7-point advantage. Haley Lynn.
Now that was NBA. It was outside the women's line, outside the men's line, and if there was an NBA line on the floor, it would be outside the men's line. And Haley Lynn was feeling it. You knew she was going to take it. I said, whoa, she's out, so she's 25 feet.
Haley Lynn, the second rocket in double figures with 10 points now. Good finish. Kari LaPlante off the pass by Cassie Harberts.
You know, right now, Toledo's just having fun. You can just see by how they're carrying themselves, particularly the seniors. Look at Goodall, look at Lynn, the older players, the 4th and 5th year players on this team. They're just enjoying the environment. Their confidence has grown with every possession.
Goodall. No basket, offensive foul. Will that get things flowing the other way for the Trojans? They needed something big, down by 8. We'll find out after this timeout. Naama Shafir will check back in with her team up by 8. Sensing a championship, the Macarena starts to leak out of the Rockets fans with 7:36 to go. Naama Shafir, relentless.
Yeah, they're having a great time here. This is Naama Shafir. She is showing her versatility. She's got the repertoire. She goes left, she goes right, she goes down the middle. Naama Shafir, and if you stop her on the inside, she'll just pop it from the outside. I asked her, where did you learn to play? She says, my brothers. I've got some older brothers. I played with them, and you can tell she's fearless. Fearless competitor. Look,
takes
there
the
she
steal
is.
here. Here goes Shafir. And the finish. 12 of 24 from the floor. 31 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists.
Well, you could tell how she took the floor from the get-go, from the very beginning. She had a game face on and a focus that I haven't seen out of a player in a long time. She's arguing every call. And not in a bad way. You gotta love the intensity level of number 4 Shafir. Look at the quick hands. Watch the quick hands. She just reaches through on Corral. No one's gonna catch her. And she uses the glass. Every opportunity she has, she uses the glass.
Brianna Gilbreth short on the jumper. Perhaps desperation setting in for the Trojans, down by the most they've been down all day. 10 points.
I tell you what, you know, SC plays in the Pac-10, and they may say, well, you know, we've seen the Guimaraes and we've seen some of the great players in the Pac-10, and, you know, you just have a tendency when you're from one of these BCS conferences to say, okay, Shafir, she's good, we got her, we know, coach. But I tell you what, they're believers now. You can see the urgency that the Shafir, she has earned their respect.
Goodall with 3 seconds on the shot clock, had to hoist it. Corral wants to shoot 3. Good defense by Haley Lynn. LaPlante bounce pass in the lane, and Harberts finishes.
Yeah, really, this game boils down to quickness. You know, as you look at championships and the importance of guard play, you're either going to win it in the paint or you've got superior guard play. And right now, when you're talking an 8-point lead, you've got to get some points on the inside out of SC because the guard play is dominated by SC right now.
Richardson gave it away. Corral. Hesitation. Missed it. Harbert's working hard. LaPlante scores. Here come the Trojans down by 6.
And that's what we're talking about. The post play of SC has got to make a difference because the guards have got their hands full. And that's a good call, timeout by Cullop. Very good timeout. You know, really, they get a little momentum. 6 points is nothing when you have Ashley Corral on your team. She could hit a couple of threes in a matter of 15 seconds. So good timeout and make some defensive adjustments.
Tricia Cullop arrived on the campus at Toledo after the program had 5 straight losing seasons, and she has turned things around. Her record here in 3 years, 71-30 now, and 42-4 at Savage Arena. There's a look inside the Rockets huddle with Coach Tricia Cullop. I wanted to mention a minute ago when the USC got that second consecutive bucket to get it back to 6 points. Talk about a guy who's been through the battles and really isn't phased. Coach Michael Cooper, the whole bench exploded on that last basket by LaPlante. Everybody jumping up, imploring the team to play hard. Coach Cooper was sitting down and he saw that his son, Michael Cooper II, had dropped his pen on the floor, and he just tapped his son and said, "Drop your pen." While the team's going nuts about the rally. That's a guy who's not really fazed by the 7,000 noisy people here. I think he might be enjoying himself.
He's probably played in 7,000 games, or coached. But you talk about Tricia Cullop, and what a great job she's done here. Came from Evansville, All-American player in her own right, and quick hands of SC got a hold of that one. And good play out of the sideline. Why not go to Shafir?
Tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Rockets. 19 seconds on their shot clock. Gilbreth again in the passing lane. USC stepping up the intensity.
Well, and I think when you have a coach as experienced as Michael Cooper, who played under Pat Riley for LA, the Showtime years, and you see so many bench time, late game adjustments.
One-on-one for Jamelis around Williams. Missed it. Jessica Williams denies.
Well, you know, it was great anticipation. I'm impressed with Jamelis. I mean, I'm just impressed that she's out on the floor, but I'm also impressed with her game. It's not all scoring for Jackie Jamelis. She had over 3,000 in high school.
Shafir reverses, scores, and one.
And she got the extra step in there. The old international move came to a jump stop. They let her get away with it, but she's able to wrap around up and under, and look at that face. You know, talk about a catalyst. Talk about an energy player with skills. She just puts this team on her back. I haven't seen her smile. She'll smile once the game's over if Toledo wins, but I mean, her head is clearly in the game.
Christina Marinacci checks in, replacing Kari LaPlante. 4 fouls for Cassie Harberts, the only player right now with 4 on the board who's in the game. Here's the and 1 for Shafir. And that three-point play, she has a new season high, 34 points, eclipsing her 32 she scored earlier this year. And that career high 36 is now in danger in this championship game. The junior Naama Shafir.
You know, it's a 6-point game, and we're talking about the guard play as Brianna Gilbreth takes a little jump shot. Good offensive board. 6-point game. Jamelis intercepts the pass, takes the ball down the floor, and can't convert. And that's really the fact. That's the guard play that we're talking about. If they convert, it's a 4-point game, and it's a different ball game. Instead, it's been stretched out in the last 30 seconds to a 9-point ball game.
Good job by USC staying on the boards. They have been getting second looks and fighting for the basketball. Marinacci at the line. She is a 71% free throw shooter. Her team down by 9. Missed the front end. The Rockets crowd loud and excited with 4.5 minutes left in this championship game. When tickets went on sale a couple days ago, Seal, the demand was so high, the phone calls knocked the phone lines out here at University of Toledo. Shafir missed it. When they called the phone specialists to see if they could get that fixed, they were unavailable because they were standing in line at the ticket office trying to get tickets to this game. A frenzy on the campus.
Well, they've clearly captured the hearts of this community. The student body first, the campus second, the community third. And when you have your students involved in championship basketball, I think that's what's so special. That's what makes college basketball. When you have the band, you have the cheerleaders, you have the students, it just makes it special.
Dortch goes all Shafir and scores. Finds a seam, scores from in close. And an 11-point game.
There's just no answer for the guards. You know, and you have 38 points out of your starting guards. And it just, you know, I think SC has really given it every effort, and you have to give them a lot of credit for what they've done in this tournament.
Largest lead of the game for Toledo at 11 points. Naama Shafir with 34 in the championship game. Bonus basketball in the month of April. The latest in the year, in the season, that the Rockets have ever played. And the fans didn't miss it. They're all over this one. Savage Arena in Toledo, Ohio. The Rockets of the Mid-American Conference playing USC of the Pac-10 for the championship of the women's NIT. We go back to action with Toledo up by 11 and with the basketball against some full-court pressure.
I don't think the concession stands have done much business today because I haven't seen one person leave and go up the aisle. They don't want to miss a play. They don't want to miss something spectacular that Shafir's going to do. I mean, it's so great to have a student body as into it as these students are, the band is. I mean, we've been here for 5 days, and it's just been a tremendous environment for college basketball.
Shot clock to 3. Goodall was fouled, and she's going to... And that's 5 fouls. They might have called that on the floor. That'll be an inbounding situation, which resets 30 seconds up on the shot clock and lets Toledo milk it again. Haley Lynn back in for Jessica Williams. Checking in for USC is Cassie Harberts, replacing Kari LaPlante.
You know, these guys are like rock stars on this campus, and that's so great. It's so great for basketball. It's so great for women's basketball. It's so great for women. You know, that when you have a player that's 9th or 10th on the bench come in, the first one in, and the entire arena stands up because they're all here an hour and a half before the game, and the students are applauding an athlete at that level, and it's a female athlete. I think that's just awesome for the game.
And overall, that's the top storyline is the big picture, but you and I were talking during the last time out, Seal. This has been quite a tournament for Naama Shafir and an opportunity for her to showcase her talents. Goodall hits the 3. Is that the dagger?
Oh, yeah, there's no question that was a dagger. You know, we talked about how loose they were. That's a foul on Dortch. He kind of got to skinny up in there and get in on that handoff, but these guys are loose. You could see their confidence building the entire second half, and that was a nice set play coming out of the timeout to set up Goodall for the 3-point shot.
Goodall now with 12 points, so that's the third Rocket in the double figures. Haley Lynn with 10 points, including 3 of 5 on threes. Melissa Goodall, 5 of 7 from the floor, a couple of threes. She has 12 points and 9 rebounds. Should she pull aboard, she'll have a double-double in the championship game. First free throw is good. Knocked down, and one more time for Jackie Jamelis as Jessica Williams replaces Haley Lynn. The other double-figure scorer for Toledo, 34 points for Naama Shafir. Also 8 rebounds in the game. On USC's side of the ledger, leading scorer is Cassie Harberts, has 14 points, 12 points for Brianna Gilbreth, and 11 for Ashley Corral. 3 different players in double figures. Only 6 players have played in this game for USC. Not a surprise.
Well, Jamelis really had a tough game. She's got 7 points on the afternoon. We talked about them, how important it was for SC to have balanced scoring.
And for Jackie Jamelis, 3 of 16 from the floor. Tough day shooting in a hostile environment. Goodall to midcourt to Richardson. He gets it up to Dortch. Ticking under 3 minutes now. Clock rolling along. Toledo using up the shot clock down to 10 seconds.
Yeah, you have to really credit the Toledo coaching staff because these guards really know how to use their screens as well. Dortch does, and you can see that in Dortch. And there's, look at the effort. We're talking about a 12-point game here with 2 minutes and 21 seconds. And Shafir gets the deflection, dives on the ball. What a competitor. Well, shots blocked. Might have fouled her there, but that's all right. No whistle, so she goes after it. And timeout. I mean, in the game, in the game, in the game. Her head is in the game.
And they had the arrow, so the Rockets have the basketball. Marinacci back in, replacing LaPlante for the Trojans.
You watch and you go, well, how much of that is talent and how much of that is coaching? But as you watch, there's some talent. But as you watch Dortch play, she plays with the same sort of focus.
Gilbreth grabs the air ball missed by Dortch. Dortch was the recipient of a brutal legal screen in the first half, ran around that one, avoided another collision.
But it doesn't change her intensity level. I mean, she's still going to defend that hard. And, you wonder why Jamelis has had a tough afternoon. Look at who is assigned to guard her. Angela Dortch, number 22, the redshirt freshman. She doesn't have the height for Jamelis. And they tried to post up Jamelis in the beginning of the second half, but Dortch is just competing every possession. And that, you go to the coaching staff. That's where you go to Tricia Cullop and her staff and say they've instilled that in this Toledo team.
Jamelis, a nice drive to the basket, got the foul, and she hits the first one for her 9th point. One more double figures to be the 4th player in double digits for USC. And still, if she makes it, a 10-point disadvantage for the Trojans. It's a 10-point game.
They're going to throw on this 2-2-1 press. They put it on last possession. Didn't get anything out of it. They didn't go. I don't think they have a zone defense. They have yet to go back to a zone defense, but they'll try to get something out of a zone press. And when you have guards as savvy as Toledo has, they're going to milk the clock a little bit. You're at 1:40 on the clock. Just take some time off, listen to the crowd, and
there's a takeaway by Corral. Here comes Dortch, who knocks it away out of bounds. Well, the Rockets have not mailed this one in yet. They are finishing strong. Nice takeaway on the play by Corral, but good hustle by Dortch to save the easy bucket.
Well, you got to love SC. I mean, this is a team that came through. They went east every possession. They start at home against Santa Barbara, beat them. Then they go to Nevada. On the road at Nevada, they beat them. They go to BYU at altitude, win at BYU. They move over a state, go to Colorado, score over 80 points, beat them. On to Illinois State in Normal, Illinois. This team has been a traveling road show. You have to give this team a lot of credit for what they've done. No other team was able to keep ascending through the bracket without the benefit of playing at home. So you got to give a lot of credit to SC and what they've done in this tournament.
Cassie Harbert's at the line, missed the first free throw. One more coming. Minute 31 to go. This is what USC needs right now, is clock stops and points. Got to hit the free throws here in this game. USC 8 of 12 from the line. Toledo 8 of 17. Harberts was short on that one. Missed them both, and the Rockets have it.
Well, Harberts has been to the free throw line. He has played a lot of minutes as a freshman this year. She's certainly going to benefit. There's a foul that's going to send. I think that's a 7th team foul. Dortch will go to the free throw line for the bonus.
Well, and the crowd will enjoy this, but let's give a major tip of the cap to freshman Cassie Harberts, who just fouled out of this championship game. The freshman, the only player on her team to start all 36 games this year. First freshman at USC to score 31 points in a game since Paula McGee back in 1981. Did it in the Pac-10 tournament, did Cassie Harberts. Here comes LaPlante with a rundown and a score.
Able to cut it. 8 points.
Tried to foul, nothing there. Richardson to Ingersoll.
And really, the clock's the opponent at this point, and so Toledo's going to pull it out at every opportunity. They're not going to take any more shots. They don't need to take any more shots unless they're foul shots, because they just need to get the shot clock down before they look for opportunities.
Jackie Jamelis' 3rd foul. That is the 7th foul for USC. So now single bonus, Courtney Ingersoll. Into this game on the season, only 3 of 7 from the free throw line. Had not been there much, and rolls one around and down. Making a 9-point game now. Toledo on top.
That's Courtney's first free throw of the entire tournament. She hasn't been to the free throw line this tournament, so she hits a couple of clutch ones there that'll help extend that lead. And this crowd is waiting to go bonkers.
Gilbreth, nice catch and finish on the run out. Under 1 minute to go now. 69-61, 8-point game. USC not done yet. but they will have to execute perfectly and get some help at this point. Haley Lynn's going to shoot single bonus. In case you're wondering, you know that Naama Shafir has 34 points in this game along with her 8 boards. The WNIT single game scoring record was set by Tamika Whitmore. Memphis against Arkansas State back in 1999. 45 points for Tamika Whitmore in that game. So that lets you know where the marker is set for an individual game scoring performance. Shafir has been the story of this championship game. At the line, Haley Lynn with her 10 points has been big off the bench, along with 8 boards for Haley in the contest today. But Naama Shafir, Seal, if you're filling out your all your tournament team picks, not too hard to figure out who the MVP of the women's NIT might be this year.
Well, I tell you what, the last 2 possessions, and I'll answer that in a second, Tricia Cullop can't be real happy. She's extended her defense. And you see all the white jerseys with their backs to the ball right there. She's extended their defense, which has only allowed SC to dribble through it. So you had a layup on the last possession, and now you have a free throw on this possession. You wonder if you might just want to run on back and get in, kind of bunch up in the lane and force them to pass the ball from the perimeter, because they're getting down the floor a little bit too quickly in a 7-point game here. This is an SC team that hasn't given up yet.
Trojans Ashley Corral, second free throw. Missed it, and Dortch is there with the shooter block out. Dortch is fouled. It's one more time on the 1-and-1. This is the 9th foul committed by the Trojans, who trail by 7. USC is not done yet.
Angela Dortch, not the best free throw shooter on the team. During the tournament, she's shooting 57%. Although she hit a 3-pointer on the outs on the perimeter against Charlotte. Now, Michael Cooper said he came to SC to win championships. He's used to championships. He's expecting championships. He's seen there. He brought this team across the country to win a championship. He gets to the championship game. He's only in his 2nd season. He's had one full recruiting class.
Dortch got 1 of 2. Here comes Jamelis. To the basket, scored it, and a free throw. Big play by Jackie Jamelis. Big sigh by the crowd. Trojans keep pushing with 40.5 seconds to play.
Well, Jamelis with a sense of urgency. She's got a few moves of her own, and you kind of wonder, had she never been injured before? It's amazing she's playing with 0 knee braces. She has a 6-year of eligibility. The NCAA granted her an extra year of eligibility. You got to wonder, she's already working on her master's in gerontology. Will she come back for another year? She only got to play a year and a half.
Jamelis gets it back on the big save by Kari LaPlante, and this game is down to a 4-point margin. And a timeout taken by Tricia Cullop. Well, all of a sudden, USC within 4 points on the make, and then the miss of the and 1, and the big Kari LaPlante rebound sets them up for 2 more.
Well, I think, you know, if Tricia Cullop is talking to her team right now, she doesn't want to talk to her team too much about offense because they've just been fouled and go to the free throw line, and that's what SC has done. But they may want to talk a little bit about defense and some of the mistakes that they've made in the last couple of possessions, and allowing SC to get to the basket, A, for an uncontested layup, and B, for an opportunity at the free throw line. This is when they were up 10 points with about a minute and a half left, and they cut it to 4, and those were more defensive lapses as opposed to offensive miscues.
Toledo led by 14 points with 3 minutes to go, a 14-point game, and the Trojans have battled their way back on the road with a new record. I think they just announced 7,300 and change here at Savage Arena, and they expected their job to be done by now, but the Trojans are forcing the issue. 9 fouls committed by USC, so everybody's double bonus from here forward. And that pass went out of bounds because I think it was Yolanda Richardson, or no, I'm sorry, it was Andola Dortch who was dragged down. 36.1 seconds left on the game clock.
Yeah, I think that was Lanique Brown who was holding her jersey. She just grabbed her jersey, was trying to get the foul really with no time elapsing.
Thank you for getting Lanique checked in, Seal. She did just come into the game, probably in part as a designated fouler.
She's got to be careful because you don't want the intentional. She had a fist on her jersey. I think all the students called that one.
They've been accurate all day long. Dortch missed the first, and USC still in this game. Brianna Gilbreth comes back in, had checked out, and is back in. Gilbreth with 4 fouls, so they're having to manage her participation at the moment.
Well, they're targeting Dortch. You know, the SC is going after Dortch. That's why she held her jersey. They wanted that foul. They wanted her at the foul line because she's just not as consistent a foul shooter, and that's a out of bounds on Goodall, so that'll be red ball. And really, see, by extending your defense here, you spread your defense out, and you have a quick guard like that, and you can get the ball down the floor that quick.
Lanique Brown missed the drive, fought for the basketball, out of bounds on the end line. It's Toledo basketball. Goodall nearly fouled on that rebound attempt at the other end, which would have really helped the Trojans with a stopped clock, but just tipped it away.
Well, she got a little bit, she got pushed a little bit, but you know, at that point, Lanique Brown doing her best really to get possession. I mean, if she'd have kicked it out to Corral, we're talking about a different game right now.
Ashley Corral just fouled Naama Shafir. For Corral, 4 fouls, 2 free throws for Naama Shafir, the team's leading free throw percentage shooter at 76% this season. Also by far made and attempted the most on the team. As you can tell by watching today's game, that is her game. She gets to the rim, gets to the line. Hit the first, it's a 5-point game.
She's come too far, too long, too hard today to lose it with 25 seconds left.
That ties a new career high. Well, not a new one, but it ties the career high for Naama Shafir, 36 points. That ball's out of bounds. It'll stay with USC. Last touch by Shafir.
Well, I think Corral just lost her footing. I don't think she really meant to shoot it. She started to go down and flung it up there. So once again, situational substitution by Tricia Cullop to get Yolanda Richardson in there, get a post player in there to get some block out. Number 33 in there really with 19 seconds. There's going to be a quick 3.
Gilbreth looking for an inbound, found it, and Marinacci scores. 4-point game. Credit to the Trojans that this is even a ball game right now. Shafir is fouled by Marinacci, her 3rd foul.
It's fun to watch Shafir because she sprints to the free throw line. She hustles everywhere. She, you know, foul's called and she turns and runs towards the free throw line. She's just an inspiration to her team, her coaches, the fans, the community. She's energized a community.
You saw Coach Tricia Cullop a moment ago on your screen, still locked jaw, watching the action here. She's going to go bonkers if they win this thing, but for right now, she is working hard as the Trojans have really pressed Toledo in this last 2 minutes of the ball game and forced it into a questionable outcome. First one was good. That's 37 and a brand new career high for Shafir. And now 38. Good at the line when it counts.
Yeah, you have to, that number 22 guarding the ball right there. She didn't score a ton of points, but you got to give her a lot of credit for the job she did on Jamelis.
Corral missed it. Gilbreth lost it out of bounds, and with 4.8 seconds to go, the party can start at Savage Arena,
where there's a lot of blue and gold clad Rockets. And these 7,300 seats who are thrilled with this effort today and proud of their women's basketball team here at University of Toledo, and they should be. What a journey. Neither coach nor point guard has smiled yet. There's a slight one.
It's a 2-possession game now. And it's a 3-possession game. Naama Shafir down the stretch has been big at the free throw line. Hitting her last 5 in a row here to seal the deal. 75-68 to score. 4.3 to go. The first national championship in Rockets history. Just seconds away, and a full house here to enjoy it with the Toledo Rockets women's basketball team.
Toledo from the Mid-American Conference, the regular season champions. As the clock ticks down, the WNIT champions.
Final score, Toledo 76, USC 68. Congratulations to the Toledo Rockets, champions of the 2011 Women's NIT. We've talked a lot about the momentum, the energy, the joy, the support, and Seal Berry watching this celebration. Tricia Cullop as a coach and the players as players have to be just beside themselves.
Well, on the shoulders of Naama Shafir, the outstanding point guard for the Toledo Rockets, this has been an outstanding season for Tricia Cullop. As you see, I mean, the hard work and effort that she and her staff have put in the last 4 years here at Toledo to culminate in this championship for the Toledo Rockets.
There is the flash mob on the court at Savage Arena. The first championship postseason effort in school history, and the Rockets have won 6 in a row in this tournament to take home the top hardware. Of course, our congratulations to the Trojans of USC. Traveled a hard road, won 4 road games into this championship. Not quite enough today. But second place in the WNIT, a big jump for the Trojans as they continue to build under Michael Cooper. We'll be back to wrap things up from Savage Arena. Congratulations, the 2011 WNIT champion, Toledo Rockets. The party is on at Savage Arena in Toledo, and there's not a traffic problem right now. Nobody's left this building as Coach Tricia Cullop addresses the crowd. You saw the championship hardware. The USC taking second in the women's NIT, but Toledo, and Coach Cullop just asked the crowd, how's it feel to be a national champion? Coach, you coached for 26 years. Can you imagine the emotions going through Coach Cullop's mind right now?
Well, I was never a national champion, so I can't. It's hard. I got to tell you, I can imagine how blessed she feels at this point to have this sort of support and to be able to have the administrative support to host this event entirely from first game to last in the WNIT and to generate this sort of fan support. And then to have that young lady, there as you see Michael Cooper and the tremendous job he has done with the SC Women of Troy.
Well, for the Toledo Rockets, they win it this year in the women's NIT after winning the regular season MAC championship, but not the tournament. They got bumped out in the semis, and they proved that they're a fantastic ball team. They have won the most games in their history right here this year. And in this tournament, Coach, you saw USC twice. You saw Toledo a couple of times. Both these teams have a lot not only to be proud of this year, but a lot to look forward to.
Well, both of these teams are well coached. You're talking about Michael Cooper in his second year and Tricia Cullop in her third year, and they've built championship caliber programs. And I think for Toledo, you had players in their roles. Yolanda Richardson, a freshman coming in, or excuse me, a sophomore playing outstanding post play. Angela Dortch, the red shirt freshman, played great defense. We've talked on and on about Naama Shafir and the outstanding performance she had in the championship game, but a lot to look forward to for the Toledo Rockets with Tricia Cullop and with USC and the job that Michael Cooper has done in 2 years.
Brianna Gilbreth, 14 points and 9 rebounds in this game. Also 14 points for Cassie Harberts, the freshman, and 14 for Jackie Jamelis. The game-high 40 points in the championship on 13 of 18 free throws. Naama Shafir, the junior, leading the way for Toledo. For Seal Berry, I'm Thad Anderson. Also for Martin Tarr, our producer-director, and our entire CBS College Sports Network crew. Thank you for joining us. For scores, highlights, features, and more, go to CBSCollegeSports.com. Tonight's game produced by Triple Crown Sports in association with the CBS College Sports Network. Congratulations to the Rockets.